Okay, here it is. A super rare, made in Japan, all maple pearl GLX Super Gripper System Snare Drum. Say that 3 times. Pearl Musical Industries released a GLX series of drums in 1985. In the 1980s, Japanese drums ruled the market. In the 1970s, Pearl created the Dyna series family of fiberglass drums, which was a combination of maple and fiberglass plies. And after endorsing Peter Criss for the Alive tour, Pearl was now officially on the map. The GLX series of drums featured what Pearl would call the Super Gripper lug system. You're supposed to be able to change the heads faster without taking all the tuning rods out. I've timed myself doing this, and I can change a head faster on a regular drum. But the design is still cool, and certainly a great collector's conversation piece. This drum weighs in at a hefty 15 pounds. This is a maple shell, 6.5 by 14. It has a dark brown coat of stain with a high gloss lacquer finish. It has the usual scratches and gouges from life on the road. It certainly adds to the charm of the drum. It has a high gloss lacquer on the inside of the shell. It has super clean aluminum screws, and it even has a few flathead screws for the throw-off, which is totally old school. The drum shipped with Pearl Super Hoops. These are the first Super Hoops that would come to dominate all the Pearl drums in the future. The badge on this drum is my favorite from Pearl by far, and I wish they still made them this way. It's a simple aluminum rectangle with the drum name on it and the serial number, and some cool brass tacks to finish it off. Notice the Made in Japan text. I found these cool misprinted Ludwig drum heads over at the Pro Drum Shop in Hollywood. They were oversprayed and they were mislabeled. On the bottom of the drum is the classic clear Ambassador hazy snare with a Fat Cat 16-strand snare wire setup. It complements the wide snare bed on this drum. This drum came with a dual strainer throw-off. This was pretty common in the early 80s. It's nice and heavy. I added some lithium grease to it, cleaned it up, and everything's working nice and smooth. Despite the scratches, the bearing edge on this drum is in perfect shape. Here is a breakdown of the gripper lugs. This was heavy engineering in the 1980s. The lugs are heavy and well made. It has a hinge unit in which the brass inserts lock into once the head is on. The brass inserts have a plastic liner to soften the grip. I added Danmar washers to the tension rods to give the drum a trick look and minimize the slippage during heavy playing. All in all, this drum sounds incredible, and I think it's one of my favorite drums in my collection. Many players to this day will say these were some of the best sounding drums ever, and I would have to agree. I mean, you can't argue with guys like Eric Singer, who still use their GLX kit from the 1980s on tour with Kiss. It's gotta be a good drum, I'm just saying. Okay, not much else to say. Thanks for checking it out, and stay tuned for the next one.